Baabia Baabia Tv ye chiechie mu nyina esande Awurade enhyira de ema etiefo nyina se da bia mogimere na mohwe yen na enenso mosomfo baako eye afianso a Margaret me na menemu edi ahia yi na yenimu di ahia aboko eye update kakra enemu wiem na ye hwe na ye de ababesom yen asomfo update kakra enemu wiem se de Putin ye nyina yenimu wapeja na kode a wode di ahim krede ewo wiem a ma wiase ayehu baabia management ni yahwe ni yabobo no ayehwe na ye de abre ababa besom yen asomfo nia etie nyina ne se se ene na mframam ewo kurodua mu se ebi ni dwengu hoi ebi nye se ebi nye fa hei ebi si hei ye hwehwe mu no ye hwehwe mu am yehu se ampa omaka ewo radio so ewo kurodua mu se ewo se obi ahwe na ope oil obi a okọ shop a ona afo se wotumi to oil bebre se first okọ anka betumi ato 10 5 ne yi no ene untumi ento saa na momokọ shop te se Aldi Penny Edika ene Lidl ne saa shop na amotontontonton nnuane ni nyina no oil awodafo eye baako anase mienu untumi na afo 3 untumi nto miensa emfe nko baabi eye baako eye Penny baako na opese odafo se oto anase mienu saa eho asem na yate ebi nso ekeka se sesi yedi dwagu ho bi kan German fo mo hu okko penti enema bi se ebobo ba na omo pe baabi di nnuane ni bi ahyehye se de obi kan eyere so paaso a obenya enuane na ahyeso omodi na ne yeso ye esan hwehwemu a ye ebi no ene se ye besre yasom yetiefo edwa no se ye di a ye bedi agu ho no ebeye bebre de mama eno de menya sure se eyeyi because se ekoba se ntokwa kora eba se de wo hwe Ukraine ntokwa enam wie se ye hwe ntokwa enam wiem se de Putin ani abre obi kan obi anim adwen a ewo ne tirim se eba se eye ntokwa kese na eba ebe yire because ye hwe bomb wo hwe Ukraine ana so hwe TV so na wo hwe Ukraine a wadi dwa bebregu ho a ye hwe ye nuanom eye refugees ya se omu free Ukraine ebe ya obi anu ho a okura odochopo eti de ebe sere ne sesese no ye niema tomo mu ne ye behwe ne yie niema kakra ye beto niema kakra asie de na nso ye be keep ye sika more e de agu ho na obi kan eyere so paaso a ene okukuru ma okukuru yire okukuru ku na se okukuru abusua na se osika kakra e wo ho a obetumi de akokuru fufuro so na wahwe na wakwakwa yusu se basa na ye no na ye sei no ye be sere Kristofo se de Kristofo ni amosramfo obi enso frɛ ni nyame se de urade ntwa nani na onye ni wiase a wo boye na saade no ansi na ye hwemu nso a niema am ye hunu se ana se hwehwemu asia be ye hu se eye do kyera na se wiase kuro bi so eye aman no bi so no wo ma mo join NATO eno ne de menya sure se Putin de nasem be come so because Putin nim no de nasem Russia for de no asem come so a eno ne de ensem bebre ebeba ehọ ne ye nyina ye se ye bom pa ye mfa se onfa nasem enko bia so no oni Ukraine for no a no mu wi a se de ye sra urade se omugusu kasa eye peace talk no mo ka no ka enya dwuma na nka bibia nasom emfa asomdwie emra saa ensemi mu na hyase aye hwanyan ebi kasete ya Putin ebi sesei aye hwanyan bebre nti ase eno na yaduaduam eye enua Kofi Adoma one onimdifo bi adi saa asemi hu nkomo eno na eye baabia ati management no ya hwaduaduam a ye kwa akofa se wuntie ya ye de ene e de ba beto ye program so na wahwe no watie na wahunia eko na wahunia eba na obi ka wo ka wahu se ne wo beka asem nafa na ne yesre nyina ne se Kristofo ni titiru ye mfa ye nkotodwe engufom na yensu emfre ye nyankopon so ohu ye mobo se obi hwe se de se ye tete matan se wo a enukra na areho no wawo no ni ate akola na furu se because untumi na oba ni nwane nti wo ya ni ate akola na furu se wo pe ba bi fa so otumi survive na du ba bi papa ye de nkola na di kan akoba bi safe place amamo ye de shepo ba bi ekosie ba bi amamo so otumi survive na nya country papa bi so a na ja wa hwe na ya hwe de oba na abrew ya asemu a se eninya asemu ankasa enti yensu mfre ye nyankopon na ye nyankopon ohun ye mobo se o ma bi nu ha emom ka ba bi e wona anwuru na gwansan ensan ka wiem na bibia enye asomdwie eno ene ne ye bikan ye baba behwe na ne Kofi Adoma no eye no ye baba behwe eho asemaka na ebi o nso ye ka wo ma obi kan bebre num kuma ebi bebre kuma ehhehwe wo ma anase ebi num ayi obubu ehuru a obi kan wo ma yi eda ejem koma ede gem na obi aso nim Putin onye de na so yenye stupid so obi opeso de world champion no obehwe na obe kentokwa ade obi kan bi di bomb ne niema ntokwa kese a ede onu a ede oyi hoseye ebebre ne kuro na so obi nim na adwen because obi kan say o so no ye mad president mad de obodanfo de unim de obetumi aye enti mad president de ne ye kan say awrade mom na onsakra say de ohia koma da ne fa no eno ne yesese Christopher ye mo empire na afi ne enenam wiem ne ne ekọ ne ne eba no ene ma ne boa ye den oil ne boa ye den eye petrol ne boa aye den ankasa eye gas ne boa aye den pa because ne nyina eye Ukraine fo yala ene Russia fo yala 80% eye Europe fo no use no 80% no efiri sa kuro ni so eno ntina masa ne ma no akosoro nti de aka nyina ne say nyina yenko todwanim na Awurade ehu ye mo bodo nsa ka wie mo ntam nsanke wie mo ntam eti e ba kwa kohwe Kofi Adoma ye tam na oni sa onimdifo no ye ni se de papa ne kirekirim no wa wunya enhwe no e wa ha eti e behwe ni yakwa kohwe ye da mu nyina ase
Soviet Union and I said the Soviet republics no abe KGB boss no I think say you most dreadful guy more than those who became the president because KGB in the hold the talisman of the Russia and for that matter time and USSR until or politician be a well experienced and we can call him a nationalist and also a very hardliner and at the same time or stubborn until that is the description okay say me misa men can for putting one
okay so yes stubborn in what sense
stubborn in a way say anything either you call it the standards and I say the ideology or a very ideological person or ideologist anything from the time if you read his background the opkaso ye biano one relinquish it say one into that makes him stubborn so go regardless of whatever and whoever talks whatever anybody talks he is still only consistent in his own ideology and okay the Soviet socialist republics. Now the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, and I said the Union of Socialist Soviet Republics, and any of them that you picking, Russia and the best step forward and obey the head, our the Moscow, obey in the capital, and or the Kremlin, obey in the seat of government. Now 15 federal republics and the core union. The 15 republics, one of them, Kyrgyzstan. One of them Tajikistan. One of them Uzbekistan. Yebinya Moldova. One of them Belarusia. And yebinya Russia nankasa. And yebinya Georgia. And yebinya Armenia. Armenia, Georgia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Omuninara, including Ukraine. These were the republics na omye maku 15 including Belarus etc. Omu nyina na ka bo mu no mse omko join union. Omko join union no. The union as it was called USSR. Kremlin, Moscow and a house will be a. Enti omu nyina ye nipa baako. Ena omu ye abusua baako, ena omu language baako. But territorially no na omu wo republics. Republics ni yenya bi wo krom hada. Ghana gained independence 1957 crown. And yet areas in Ghana now joining. Until said the whole areas in Ghana joining near did 3 years of our independence and you being the Republic Day in 61 and 1960. 1st July. No. And that is when all of them they formed said Ukraine and Republic, Georgia and Republic, Moldova and Republic, Belarus and Republic, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. Omu nyina womu individual republics no kan nyina ye de ebomu a former Russia. In 1985 thereabout no na omu party your friend the Communist Party what you say of the Soviet Union. Your friend say CPSU. What you then say? Okay. That was the Central Party or the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, CPSU. 1985 no leading to that 84 no na Mikhail Gorbachev under the president. Udika be a secretary of the CPSU and subsequently be a president in 1985. Or yeah, president 1985, US had a president called Reagan. But what they say, and my almighty Margaret Thatcher, UK. I'm talking in terms of the superpowers. Now, Mikhail Gorbachev, a Bayern, from 85 or 5 years, no, and or started say, or tried say, or catches a republics, no, in Ukraine, so because pick Ukraine, about 45 million. O pick Belarus on the number 20 something. O pick Moldova or some, Turkmenistan or some, Afghanistan of Osum, Kyrgyzstan Osum, Kazakhstan Osum. Countries in republics in Susan there. And Kamumian Chichem, near my flag bearing nation, sovereign nation with sovereignty rights. Now women in our countries. Instead, name young what the federation like United States, and the federalism, woman. America could also have done say Georgia, Atlanta, New York, or a country. But America for your federalism, and at the state level, no come who bomb number United States of America. United Kingdom will be or the Irish Wales and Scotland, or become in Abum so yen. Intina, Russia for no a year joining say, Gorbachev again say, Yan sa and to see a UN Security Council near Votua. There were more votes instead of one vote in a beco. And to try convincing woman. But Russia, for communists as they are, no more ideology, no more principles on the West. I'm here from democratic nations. In 1991, elections, so they were looking for a hardliner. No, a hardline politician, or no, you're pro-Russia, and that's why you're pro-communist. And only Boris Yeltsin. But prior to that, 85 for now, your friend said Gorbachev be a president. Under 1 year, 86, April being and Russia, that is the Soviet Union, arms, warheads, nuclear heads in Ukraine. Georgia, no one near my own see. Kazakhstan, no one near my see. Turkmenistan, no one near my see under the federation because we are one country. 86, now it was a bit surprise, say, obey a president, a year, Mikhail Gorbachev, no. It did 1 year, no. You say, Chernobyl, which is the city that was holding the weapons of Austria, and your friends say Russia, any omono in Arsenal, boom, any jatum. Into that reactor, especially the number 4 reactor, a holding an woman dangerous and Yamawa, Nina. That was under Mikhail Gorbachev. Until the BBC said the Chernobyl disaster. And the US in the reactors in the smoke, your friends, environmental, the Yama. At the end of the day, no, the world fight Russia for fight here, and we do and the BBR to try. Until Gorbachev free power. 91 now, Boris Yeltsin Bayern. Now still pro-Russian for no and pro-Moscow for no say. Sa ideology and I said the system see join the entity republics, then you be there. But now Gorbachev are prepared grounds. I'm not
be Felix Michelle say Edino Gorbachev. And I say
Gorbachev.
Okay. But yes, you didn't know or who take chop now.
That be Gorbachev. Okay, Gorbachev.
Okay.
And to Gorbachev, if you wanna Boris Yeltsin Bayern. Now Boris Nankasano. Now on say on concentrate because sabi no some more. Now Gorbachev Bayern. Obabeto John Major. Their friend is saying Boris Yeltsin Bayern. Now Margaret Thatcher exit was resigning in 1994. Ama John Major Abem. John Major, elderly politician of the UK's. Boris Johnson, Boris Johnson, no one kakra and Roberto. Into social between 1991, 92, 91, Boris Johnson Bayano, na Major ho. That time, no, na Reagan also name na Margaret Thatcher the Omoko, na Bush Senior and Oho 91, 91, 92, 92 of the American elections, January 20th, and Bill Clinton Bayer. And it's interesting thing, Clinton Bayer. Only a smart politician, smart diplomat, and we call John Major, and only Boris Johnson, and started say, on the Clinton, need to come at the piano, say, Crocron, and to whom na applications after applications. 15 republics, will be at the open country. Boris Johnson, one country, Belarus, no attend, Moldova, no call, Lithuania, no call, Latvia, no call, Kazakhstan, no call, Tajikistan, no call, Uzbeks, any Omina will be a who will be at it in Enebeka, Moscow. In 1991 to 1999, under the presidency of Boris Yeltsin, nature said Russia, Soviet Republic, a breaky. A breaky and Beka, Moscow. nemo Moscow ni benya ally say me Belarus me ko the Minsk government me ko nemo Kazakhstan me ko nemo me ally still with Russia.
Okay.
They benya hardcore highlanders say or the only Russia ni bibia ibi. Now this is how Ukraine or the tin Ukraine I want a parliament. Na Belarus
initially no na Ukraine e can Russia Soviet Union no kan
oka ho one year only the main na match say on kwa ni chrome weapons.
Okay.
Now 1991 na Gorbachev a free power no. It was surprising say Gorbachev call na no. Wo Gorbachev buy no 1986 na Chernobyl share. O free power na 91. Ukraine for call omo parliament. Enye the parliament of the Kremlin. And omo call sign say yenye Russia biom. Into ono no odi Moscow anko. Ono an ye self-proclaimed independent. And oje no ono an independent. And adana oka say we Ukrainian Republic. Onye part of Russia biom 91. And also then the president ebaye. Ni nyina no na kese Boris Johnson and oho 95 na Boris Johnson na oho na Clinton aba picture ni mu na omne ne kasa Chernobyl so ahye and Ukraine started to all build up to be a powerful force to reckon with. Now Johnson be free power 99. All this period in the 90 column no now this Putin na or your mayor of your friends in Moscow and obey a KGB boss. And to obey a KGB boss it means say our knowledge and also ni me kwan a e bi e fa so a omu nyina break away and also disintegrate here. Okay. And 99 no am push the agenda 98 enter into the presidential race. That ana Boris Johnson crab ya be 6 months no ntimi nkasa into a standing elections na 99 year to man. Year to man no swear in 2000 alongside with President Kofom. Okay. That time na Clinton so akọ from 1993 on so akọ ni 2 terms 93 to 97 no ena John Major so resign here ena Tony Blair buy Tony Blair buy and Obeto Clinton. Tony Blair is one of the intelligent to me fine politician. Clinton one of the intelligent fine politician and then the Jacques Chirac of the France. And this cruise no anybody Jensen jelly e man soft on niema. But ayi buy no your friend say Putin buy 99 no na Clinton time aso. Na used so Tony Blair so the resignation abetom amono so no omu nyina no omo ko omo ho eden no omo eden politically diplomatically no omo ko and Putin buy time Putin buy no na ka Russian colony I am friends one republic from Chechnya no and omsusu no omsu application demo a omso ti omo ho and the Putin chance na 2000 no and also you are not going anywhere and the Chechnya for no raise arms no mtu say Russia are weak. And to one nekono Putin estampo on them and killed 8,000 people within 2-3 weeks. Odi fiti omono and say mo amonya Russians and there's no country called Chechnya. And to omo rebels and omo yes are fighting for independence omo nyina no do na ka underground since 2000 bepem na. Okay. And the Putin tinase and also or yet Russia and will raise what is called the Putin decrees now 14. Now kind of 14 decrees now or installed in May into one friend May decree or yeah May decree 14 no and or chere a kwanya or pass of us running the Russia and as it were Russia must be strong again into or your economic reforms or your social reforms and or yeah a lot of things and or say countries are almost free Russia Federation ni mono omu nyina antiase say they have to neutralize it around Russia. The country no neutralize it. Organization biana Russia will you and India only free to join. Name not to many idea arms no on person become because say more part of us. Ye near be abidim ho munim ye secret near the ade and is all neutralize or no any problem. Now when it decree way back in 2000 but will be ignore no. And no didi man or call first 4 years we 2004 we and was high election and or winning landslide victory and or call 2008 or we 2008 no now I force the Russian parliament call 3 and a Russia foreign case there be ya man in court third term and the third term no omu constitution ni say ubetima ko 2 consecutive times no a step no asaba back and or call Dmitry Medvedev Edinburgh or the Medvedev buy no or yeah what is called tan democracy ni say me the power amount Jimmy Kura, but me here as a farmer me back. Enti Dimitri etiase, and no your friends Putin no move from the presidential palace and as presidential seat and call prime minister or be prime minister and the Medvedev be president no be president prime minister no we Dimitri near president no Russia parliament law be no man sign or no na sign bibia presidential house and a palace na onu Putin team no wantum wa ma boy no so antenam because na democracy what you say into China 2000
and democracy we di kakra na we di kakra
madun ya arrangement sabi yam fan in the case of his excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo na nka woko 4 years no the system ni ti man babaka the 4 years ni bend no de ma president vice president Mahmoud Bamia until 2020 elections no na nka wasa ba beje na friend and democracy
okay
until oji anu wie ya no oba back 2008 na 2008 we wie ni term no de ma oye tan democracy system no o de ma Medvedev no e no kotena ase wan kotena ase o that criminal ho as prime minister 2012 e no oye den o say unity e no sa de na ade ma no e no sa win a landslide victory into di 2012 o ji wie ye no e no hu say na afemire wonanim so obedi kro bitima say di another 8 years enti country bia woni Russia beef no ono mu bedili okay oba ye no 2012 the first thing oyeye any Crimea no the eastern border with Russia south omye Ukraine border ne fa wo
okay
but woman kasala no mu shato say omu person beko Ukraine they want to be part of Russia
okay
Crimea for no that time no president Viktor Yanukovych wa ma wo mu kwai wante ase na ono no more or less in pro Russia into one tiasie amakwai ama Crimea for anko what are they na say and it was easier say beba Putin ebekwa akoje ho in the 2012 na oje power na obsa efa kofa Crimea no ana omo Ukraine for declare Crimea for so omo rebels declare so omo rebels no that time it was under the presidency of your friend say Petro Poroshenko no ebaye no ono no a billionaire already as a president confectionery products milk and no too rich no worth more than 3 billion and obey a president Ukraine obey president Ukraine and our ne ayi your friend is saying your friend say Putin started say omunya problems but don't forget so only see council no unyan under Kremlin because no omunya ye KGB boys and you know the office of Putin and to in the history of Ukraine no one president within Russia or Ukraine or a friend said Putin any problems no so Putin now Yanukovych Viktor no pro Russian Ukrainian president no dwane ko Russia and I was so buy no Petro Poroshenko no or Putin yes so ye gidi but ono ya sa ni nyina no ono so ni the president we are Ukrainian for sika massively and to who say ankoye the all year in 2000 or in 2015 2005 15 a term ho no 15 years 10 to 15 ho no and omo year election and omo year day omo pam no enti na ono no Poroshenko no ono the best started the agenda of the European Union because catch Ukrainians say odomo ko west odomo join European Union and he was the one that started the agenda of Ukraine joining European Union. Bear in mind said NATO now Russia Ukraine at that time no Ukraine again independence no o neutralize ye can neutrality and a neutralized nations these were the countries o declare in the world say on fa etuo ono obi anko
okay
on joining the NATO forces MAS NATO no obeka ho no obeko ntokwa so obeko NATO ni mukura na on raise arms or call humanitarian which are the countries Norway were red or white red and black Okoye Latvia no Okoye Lithuania Okoye declare internal Russia is comfortable and the Ukraine that we are talking today no also declare neutrality Denmark declare neutrality Norway Sweden only the first country could declare neutrality say only the we say can word who atokwada on person no be abeko Austria red and white nation will declare neutrality and Poland also declare neutrality but only the exchange no jeopardizing or joining NATO no and a host of countries Costa Rica will declare neutrality Spain will declare neutrality Mexico will declare neutrality 20 countries and na Russian Turkmenistan our part of Russian Federation nyina atiase say declare neutrality around the Russia because or say declare don't join NATO because ba be me enemy and nyina anti Ukraine was a neutralized nation onkra arms. So Putin surprisingly, even though he's one of the stubborn presidents, now no come Crimea for independence forcibly or catch Ukraine for say South strip hano omso mpesomba Russia Ukraine so momunka Yanukovych na ohon on the no tiase but Petro Poroshenko ni so on tiase and na oba 2012 na ye Putin no or start kokoji ho wie ye no one day or che 700,000 passports and what the man Crimea for say munyam your Russian and no you sue that as an and what the call UN say Crimea for ni na so ma ba Russia one omunya country and yet only self-determination but they are part of the Russia alliance into Russian citizens into UN ka omanu tumu name Lugansk ana Luhansk ana Mariupol ana se Donetsk for ne there they no so mo flag and so person ye and Russia catch Ukraine say e kwan a wo fa so te ho a wan kra me no wo so person ye part of their own country into mo kwa ho na heat no bae
okay
and na Ukraine forces wo ntiase to declare the Donetsk rebels and will declare Mariupol rebels and will declare Lugansk. Sa border na friend Donbass no. The Donbass region in Iran will declare them say rebels. And the Putin fee say or call for soon help woman normally Ukraine. Interestingly no, Ukraine will declare say how do we call a neutral land no? Why application to be part of NATO?
Wedi kan say Putin ama omu nyina agi atum say omu join obi a
na omu gi atum e Boris Johnson at time omu gi tum e Gorbachev time.
But now the new president of TCC.
Yes, Zelensky.
Yeah, very saying
Zelensky, Volodymyr Zelensky.
Okay. Why am I putting whole history?
Yes.
On the history ne say.
Ono ne say. Ono no time a Poroshenko no ekoba say ono dey be save Ukraine do mako Europe. Actually ne aban no e witness the massive fraud in the history of Ukraine. And as a link in so Obaba betwa European Union adwuma ne so enti omuto aba na de man no ono no ye na agent so no de o ye anti-Russia.
Okay.
Enti ono no e by abam.
Okay.
2018
I when team on Russia sem. Enti omo declare neutrality ni nyina no ono ba still
no on madwene won team. Enti omuto Poroshenko 2019 no apo Zelensky buy no Oba na also started the European agenda and or intensify the search to be part of European Union first. Your application for European Union no European Union the application ni too. But then European Union among Ukraine as we speak strong worded message said ya bejima tum near prepare grounds near the mabeka ho integration no name on 2024 na ye member. So be a member of the European Union na instantly no on function bibia say is cannot join ya person show performance ya person show economy ya person show security ya person show assistance support any niama we dey by European Union to 2024 no join ya 6 years thereafter which is 2030 no ahona ne ya be ma ultimate enter the Schengen obetima enter the currency obetima enter niama mebre but this war na wo mko niama miensa economic war to the Russians a political war to the Russians and diplomatic war to the Russians. Economic war ni say Ukraine ebe part
of
the European Union na the gas no obe pump ato ama Europe.
Gas no Ukraine.
Ukraine was head of the Russian gas no.
Okay,
Georgia mu nyina obi. Russia one dey but as we speak no Russia na net ton the gas e dey ma Europe. Na 80% of Russia gas kra German for kwa na eto. France tobi, Holland tobi, omu nyina tobi. Into Russia ni massive scandal nya no gifi middle Europe.
Okay.
Into say Ukraine be member there or no be called by the European membership agreement into betima ton gas ni cheaper than the Russia the ma woman. Into Putin who say dum ho na ni sika sam enkoye. That is the economic reason.
Okay.
Political reason is say what you say so ko join European Union no next is what enter the NATO zone. But politically what you say we a neutral nation. But o ko join there next say European Union no NATO any European nation ba frontier ni mu e be establish base ewo Ukraine and Russia sees it said on Russia ni NATO special agreement I friend the Russia NATO council and only a special agreement be a Russia membership no or your membership but niam me be on NATO nye but on one special council agreement no NATO for nyim free ho into on hwe say be conflict say Ukraine aba NATO ni mu na woni NATO war agreement for a council agreement na afei nso so no okoje Crimea in 2012 political decision ba ko NATO take yen eno mko suspend Russia na Putin waba ni second term ni third term 2012
no suspended Russia free
o ma suspend as we speak every NATO ni but mo suspend no say ne mum yenyi cancel agreement nso free o ene de NATO fu anyi eno se mu nyi dia mo ntim ma Ukraine so ntimi nya member mempene because that was not the agreement se mo ma ne be member wa be me hwana no dodo woni me war tactics woni me defense system into oba mu hwana na ke say NATO is facing Russia but Russia so no agent tokwa ato no so say NATO nya trouble on so be support Russia the allied forces NATO any American for call Afghanistan no Afghanistan Russia koi but one to or your support services or logistics or your friend say medical the support to the allied forces into no pese on in the territory will be a problem now no year and say we in European Union man 2024 you answer NATO forces be ma Ukraine 2024 almost be more membership and we need Putin the biggest problem and to honor your friend say the political the diplomatic turn down and that's a diplomatic part of the crisis majority I say in my view at that time no, it was too mad rush for NATO to say suspend Russia because Russia is a bigger ally and we are superpower. It is what suspended from 2012 invade Crimea Russia fine man so name 3 countries in a no stretching Russia any Belarus any Kazakhstan any countries now pro Russian near 5 countries among the 193 countries of the United Nations so 5 countries in are taking Lugansk any Donetsk any Mariupol as adopted country Putin said me a superpower in the South countries, Mrs. me recognize you because Montu and Inconcoche Yugoslavia, Albania, Kosovo, Albania, Tirana, any other than UK, America, and the Western world so adopt to Emma Womia independent nation, free Yugoslavia, Serbia, and the associate bit my mama day, I country on their own. In the side issue, diplomatic issue, a hand the war, NATO for ND assembly and we. And now this application to be the European Union member, Ukraine, and now this problem of the neutrality now, Ukraine, and now no, all free mu, ako joining the defense forces of your friend is NATO, and so EBA. Now, interestingly, no, a whole dynamics, no, and I mean, if you said,
when Russia became part of NATO, Russia, yes. no, come home.
One of them come home as a member, but the membership no a certain limit. Okay. And was signing so much was signing Russia will cancel any different NATO on the Russian council. Any different agreement because Russia no superpower no per se or the American for near they join one organization but and number be no one Atlantic no baby one almost agreement and obey more or less say we a member into suspend membership no side diplomatic problem o man solve into confuse o man solve there next say Ukraine now Russia suru no say obetima ha no akọ join Russia feel say ne your friend is saying the territory no endangered and Putin so your politician and am say we stubborn it o feel say we entitled say when timi ma Ukraine enko Europe na the economy ne gas me bono na o ma me treat e me ye ne defense on threaten no but ma quick history Yugoslavia your friends of Poland oni Ukraine any Russia war border Poland for na omu leader 15 years ago 2010 2000 and something around 15 years ago no yeah. Poland for president only the prime minister only the defense minister only the IGP only nipa mako 100 and Putin invite you 2012 2010 na onu Putin prime minister sabum ye nyina amra former allies they celebrated the day of Russia independence omu nyina akọ Russia ekọ celebrate here omu pie aba no na border ne so boom and imagine say one day president prime minister and omu former president omu nyinara na omu ye pro Europe Putin finish omu nyina enti be ma Poland for the omu suro but the history again is that Ukraine land no enye Ukrainian for no crowd there
okay
Ukraine Poland for land
okay
when in the 15th and 16th and 17th century, no, Poland as a country was wiped out from world map. First World War, Poland was wiped out. There was no Poland. Russia for the Polish fought and on very gain here 45 wɔn sa konye and obeji Poland nsuo na asase ne soma no eno gya sa part no edema Ukraine enti ye ka the landlord and the landowners of Ukraine country na Poland enti Russia da bia no wo hwe ade a Ukraine beye because Russia and Ukraine no one family. Okay. Poland Russia friend is saying Ukraine landlords and Russia also European territory and Russia also NATO territory monti Russia any Poland also what I say obiara dan ho so Poland dan ho so and this Ukraine fight no and he say the western world no NATO anybody Europeans miscalculated. The miscalculation was that they started talking. Me can't show interview before said, and yeah, Europe will be able to donate one single arm. Yeah. Obetimi the ammunition ko. But obi an wadi ni troop back home. Elbeti Russia. Okay, say me cancel some nature. After the Ukrainians na who say more custom bebo assistance support. Logistics no dey buy nipa na beto. Why? Because say Russia army 900,000. The reservists inquire 2 million. Ukraine army 273,000. The reservists have been call 100,000. And in terms of the firepower, no, Russia will be, but won't mean 900,000 army. What is going on now? No, let the public understand. So we understand the strategy and the defense system and the Russia. Nobody can tell what is in the mind of Russia as of now. But then the diplomacy breakdown and NATO are managing ye, European Union are managing ye. No. So when Putin started warning Ukraine, no, now that time it could have been dealt with at the diplomatic level on the table, using the corridor of diplomacy and also using the table of diplomacy. European Union for now anyesa, NATO for anyesa, until say Putin be declare invasion. So we declare invasion there. Invasion must come with a result. Enti must we wakokum nipa wa pieko. International criminal justice system no ebe catching up. Enti ebusa say Putin mission obi anim. European Union for nankasa num say the NATO headquarters in Brussels or nankasa a neutral land in 20 nkoko. Amsterdam, Holland ontimi nkoko. Now no se mun nyina mun timi donate and mun timi volunteer with troops. Now so the tuo be kwa tuo nipa na eto.
Aba say me so je ni bia o ma ware sisi na nsan ya honeymoon ni nyina o mu kokoro.
Etuo no nipa e na eto. Entimo the tuo komana na me ni ndua.
Enti we say we be o say wa betimi fight ama Ukraine bia.
Only the other fight be sell me say Russia amini 900,000.
Ye for kan won kra Ghana soldier for kan.
The population 145 million. United States population 355. America on the National Guard in Akaboma 1.3 million. Russia and Kwande need 2 million reservists. Our Maya prepare say at 10 biana Russia being a problem you never sorry for arms. Onyusu this fight no more kono. There is no Russian special forces. When you say special forces,
you are the team B grand
you're from baby army.
Mule for no.
They only the baby army na eko.
Empony.
Enti onye mami chiro. Putin is not going say or call akoji Ukraine.
Okay.
Putin is putting pressure on Ukraine so that European Union should be fed up with their involvement and then with their membership. Putin is putting pressure so that NATO ebe you himself in Ukraine. Now I refer Ukraine to the neutrality. And no near idea Putin oye. Now intimidation no NATO for ensusu and political heat na memuno. And now aggravate story na am put in the book now.
But could this also be true? Humble Ozzy said the West is deliberately using Ukraine to test the capacity of Russia.
The West cannot use that to test the capacity of Russia. They can use that to provoke.
Okay.
Listen to me, not to test, to provoke.
Okay.
And to almost provoke woman. No. Russia in very well say, NATO Kamboma, individual countries will be ama. Poland will dare not make a mistake so only Russia can start atrocities being. Now, NATO no. The story ni yo.
Yeah.
Dynamics in say. Now Russia. Your friend Obi, German Bundeskanzler, Prime Minister, and Angelica Merkel, or you're putting political daughter, or no see integral part of the NATO. Mami no on 20 years no. Putin be 10 years or no 8 years no. Oni mami no, oni ne kan Russian, oni no nkuta hudie. Enti NATO crowd Russia, o masem kobo ba Russia so a na bibia ha de why. Adan na mami ni free power under 1 year. Shows in the SPD. Socialist Deutsche Partei no eba no. O must start intensify the membership of Ukraine. Now no, sa Angelica Merkel ewo mu a nka sa issue we no ka Russia nko anfa hit na ama be ma me ni free ho no ono no Putin feel say so the pressure to Ukraine so a na refugee mass refugee no German for the benya influx into Obama problem SPD government no discredit you any a political strategy of your friend saying Putin now obi an hu Putin team adwene say NATO for kasa France to messages Boris Johnson what two messages when very well say Royal Army need to enkoko because
Ghana cry issue statement says ceasefire Russia ceasefire
and then I make sure say you join the international forces to give statements but you don't go unilateral unitary statement and the next attack country no either verbal or whatever and Ghana no or be joining the international forces no so any there put you on uniasem okay say no make us say Ghana ntimi ma ono ani so speech say Putin jade oye or joining the international allies where
we can take
ceasefire internet and another so so diplomat in India ko wakabi now NATO did that omo European Union did that omo international forces they were thinking say na American for be involved military
Ukraine for yana
Ukraine for you no visa American for beba but let me tell you and tell the world and tell the listeners America they are too smart because we say case in the European case and on him say Trump na ha enka your friend is Putin enka you NATO kra no nka Putin so be stop the ekoso no say on man NATO kwa mom so nyesa but Joe Biden him very well say Putin no wo Americans nkoka baby or developing Ukraine America will lead Europe over 100 years in terms of development and political structure ni bibia on fa ne hu nkodi Europe achi ema Putin ema meto Washington on be di Putin achi Europe achi ema the Cuba waters a year Cuba 100 kilometers nautical miles no Cuba side no Russia vessels wo ho America is super intelligent super clever say on tutu ne oba make a political speech eno na ekoso
Antonio Richie Van Dyke say Kofi I'm living in Slovakia next door to Ukraine.
Yes.
The American troops are here in the eastern part of the country but can't enter Ukraine. But it is scary the way more planes in a display
America bad maneuvering. Where a NATO member, NATO for anyasem, obey scouting, obey maneuvering, onto weapon, onto bomb, on drop one paratrooper, on drop one parachute. Ukraine and answer Russia ultimate try uncle tempt America. America uncle tempt Russia, but or patrol a NATO with American troops and yes sir, but exercise
into skirmishes.
Skirmishes. Nemom who said why are you what is in the Putin's mind and he said there were 5 to 6 main lunatic governments of the world. You can't lunatic governments of the world are put in a prefect. So you can't lunatic government of the world that is the president Omar Bodam. Russia and a prefect and the vice here China and the chief of staff North Korea Kim Jong-sung and over Cuba Mbajo they say and over Nicaragua na say wo bad the side na omu supporting of the lunatic on your main member block Pakistan were anti-American into another support to Russia Mbajo they say Cambodia on no a neutral land once you declare neutrality but omu pro Russia you were Indonesia or you pro Russia you was Singapore or a neutral land or you pro Russia. And it's all lunatic governments, you know. What come Obama? Omu kobe 8. So omu military population. Never China and Kwanye me Ukraine. So South Korea no Kwanye near mani missiles, ICBMs, and in the long range missiles will team call at the American. Into American ko engage with Russia because an anti-missile defense system no. Or check the free Russia bano. Now ko sabe check the free her. Or check the free Russia ban, no check the free North Korea, now or catch the free Pakistan, no catch the free please. America will not be stupid to do that because it will be too much overwhelming. Now, cap 1-on-1 countries now, the Nordic 5, no, Norway on 1-2, Sweden on 2, Finland on 2, Iceland on 2, Denmark on 2, into Nordic 5 ni na kwa free one. Ireland or a neutral land on 2, into him for and they form the basis of NATO, Ghana, and any Russia. And the United States will make statements. Boris Johnson make statements. But the real fight, you know, Obian to me mentioned the word lunatics in team. And anything I make sure say, anybody to suggest, says our war will be do world war, there can't be any world war. Meaning, said, there will be a world crisis. It is ongoing now because superpower are sorry, ekura arms into a world crisis. Name say an escalation of world war there. Na me say I say, can English Boris Johnson tell His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo said, "Onfa Ghana troops emra na royal me said dom year no Korea war, said dom year no Burma war."
Ghana soldiers no mboko.
Masa Ghana peacekeeping no. Say Boris Johnson free Ghana and na royal army war air. And yes, what the soldiers and but or the play back Ghana also so no you part of international community bra. Ghana the helicopter no entimi ni Togo. And no American mesa kabiam with all respect to Ghana army. One one send me see any jet. And then helicopter and cause your castle or Johnny Togo for crying no makwa. O two free Accra or Benumsio so Gakope border. Obesi for Manumsio ewo Akachi. And san Numsio demu. And this helicopter or the Nippon team or the Akokwana assessing. Nigeria jet fighters 5 no. Over Hakwana fu ani because omu yebi. Omu ko Gambia. Eko celebrate Independence Day. The helicopters in Kwasi Ghana. And it's a country, individual country. Obaka ko cancer one meaning NATO. Na ntokwa momiamra. Now, France, young man kasa. The France army, Sebastian NATO so obeko a. Hwe ba bia Paris wo. Ene ba bia ne Palace wo. Oyeso owura Germany. No be we up to East Germany. And I said today, Berlin. Yeah. No ko wura Berlin, di ko wura Poland. Papa, would Moscow sit there say Paris for move ediaba? Or then the tanks say far from Middle Europe ediaba kwana. There be bearing in mind is say Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, all United declared neutrality and Switzerland and the France obefa him. So Okofa Leona. Okofa Leona. Why in fan
But when you mean Israel,
Tell me, Bibi Netanyahu or your strongest ally with the United States. And our Russia as well very good links. Meaning say Israelis, you were more than 45% of Israeli nationals are only Israeli Russians. And the Bibi
no so ye din.
What kakabia obetio padas be ko no ankasa no ne Knesset no ne parliament no Russians na tete ho. Are you aware? And the Bibi Netanyahu enka bi. And American force you imagine say person ne Russia face offer. Obe expect say Israel beba beka ho. Israel will not attempt so on Russia beko. And yes, be ontimi ne nko and ontimi nye bio. But Israel on so side and already no our battle e won the region. The moment Israel bema arms or call Russia kokono, it gives room to the Palestinians. It gives room to the Friday saying in Syria. It gives room to the Lebanon borders now already no Aleppo we now super Israel. It is lunatic government no Syria or joining member of the lunatic government. It whereby said not to some kokon Syria or mekoma America or bekoma Russia. Until lunatic governments na be doso eno na putu fie eno mo nyina so ye fighters uka wo pro Kurdistan a lunatic government enti o mo nyina so o mo ko join no mo Russia akontokwa who is Holland, who is Luxembourg, who is Germany, who is Austria
enti no bia ye din
enti obia betima kasa be do ma nim se o makoka hit ana Russia no so Putin ankasa no se be si atiatum so ebodam ni a ye nim adwene wo ni tim but the bottom line is say politically, diplomatically, economically, and defense-wise, Russia, any foreign nation outside or either than Ukraine, or better to back Russia, the lunatic governments will ramble. Oba beji Putin and it's nama kofi omunyina no sabi ehun abo wo mu a obi antimi nko forward say or kwade ne ho akowura ntokwa na mebre otuo mebre wajan mebre osekai mebre pansa mebre we say ni de fakoma no ni anhwe kwan a obefa so a obeto
but why say Russia for adwane ajomo soldier for bi adwane ajomo
ya wo
abraketwa bi akohunahuna Russia
and na make sure say Russia do ye ni intimidation okay o mo battlefield see any baby army o mo e fa o mo no won 2-3 years for army no o mo na ho so Russia so o releasing the forces ankasa e de akogu Ukraine kabaten ka destruction are massive try a clever thing bi oye o say Zelensky mra na yenye dey yankasa na Europe for ni NATO for de no mo ye no Bramian trans ni yankasa ehin fa na Russia select here o say Belarus onye na adwun so be move to the communist zone ni mu Zelensky ye miske no crab owura Belarus Minsk ho a omkwa akopeke no ho opeke na obesa retake Ukraine and American force say Zelensky mra US omo befa no o say there be I'll die like a martyr onko and German force say omo manifesto so onko I remain here onim why because we free open a breakdown in government Russia bit ma peke into the strategy ni say Putin obi anim de woni tim And the strategy is say Putin put to excessive pressure and force on NATO using Ukraine so the NATO members should move. Now lunatic governments will take over. Kofi, emra COVID by me catch you say ampa say world war, conventional war. Said world war ba over 200 countries around the world. Him fana land ba obi kwa kofa. You need land.
They say part the war there.
And to be able because say independent nation Ghana when you independence next 2 weeks next week no when you 65 years of independence. Eya then na British work akofa Kenya for agum edo magu jombom si ekwa akoko enya possible Kenya onko Malawi onko Zimbabwe onko Zambia onko South Africa Namibia omnyina obi anu obeko Portuguese islands Portuguese colonies of Africa Portugal were declared neutrality long time also onko eden na Mozambique eden Angola majority eden na eden na Guinea Bissau Quebec ebede no wakobi antimi nko obi edi ne ho so Sierra Leone odi ne ho so enti British Army cannot call Sierra Leone so bra me nkonkokon that is the irony enti I hear the talk show and no kasa obi anu obetima abo
enti what will you tell Ukraine now?
Ukraine ne say me am pro peace. Ukraine in very well said Russia started the full scale of a war declared said the Omadika invasion no when said Ukraine will be in a heat destruction be massive but and so on the flip side of it no Putin who catch will be said foul flag to her for utio to her mansaso wo dia won fa wo dia so anto to me I find it say it is a bit of too much of intimidating and then too much of a pressure or exercise and as person or exert on Ukraine. That is also not proper. Lunatic ideas and ideologies is not proper. But to champa ne says say no Ukraine who said not to follow they do me and obi amfa tuam obi amfa the troops ama. America can hover around the NATO territorial area. Put you won't me attacking no aggression. Germany or air obetima call the NATO patrol area. Won't me call the Russia Ukraine over oyi. And in Russia will declare no fly zone. And so declare no fly zone there. Kofina said, so we ban the territory. And only the aircraft, no, a United States aircraft, a UK aircraft there, or down on the CCR there, also to me hit your country.
Okay.
And to woman in idea no can na Kofi, a MPP and this is talk Ibia. Ombe speech, ombe statements. But when it comes to real-time action, they cannot predict what is on the mind of the lunatic governments.
One wadam ni aircon na asa wasresre ebi ho a unnim za ba bi da ne ho be fa dia bo team ye declare the president of Abadam for presidency we are seeing idea na ke say okona ide but Ghana for ho a manfo aye concern no ebi aba be do kakra bi wo mo aka no so mo mra no ebi say lata moemwe wo mo se twa so mbeba Ghana pa de ne nka bombu nku wo mo na ebi abom wo mo ne nam Europe wo mu dwane say ya dese ebi mo nso abusuafo say he mo mra fie enti wo nso hwetwa ticket asande de ama wo mo a info ya nyane se ebi beba wo kina ene na de kye a wo ankasa na atwa wo mo tickets a wo nso edwane aba but wo mo a na e wo wan wadwum so mpeso mo ko Europe ne de say ye na mo ntokwa ne Europe bie ne borders no se o manfo betumi adwane abebo abo e wo ho ti ebi mo ahyase a wo mu wura sa tokuro no se wo betumi akobo abo se ntokwa ne betwa se entwa ne de say minim e betumi atwa soon
very soon no Russia there obey dede Russia be intimidate your friend saying Ukraine said do no but Russia who said NATO phone nyina no or provoke obi ama Russia will see obe seize fire but now no the oya no there a shake up anya dia obetima destroy Ukraine and anya dia so a obetima say or retake Ukraine nemom say NATO no bam na pressure bam dia then the Russia invasion must have a strategy. It must have a target and it must have an objective. Say, I feel crowd them. I prepared. Say, may call all out. Ukraine, you cease to be a country on your own. You are part of USSR. Come back. And no, and the name say, intimate do Putin, intimate yes, no. But Ukraine, Zelensky, no, or miscalculate here. Now, also so yes, sir. I be near the sympathy of Europe, near the NATO European Union on term. Now be European member. Now they are justified. Say, ampa. Ye two petrol Poroshenko no munya gidie ma me se me dem boko Europe betima enter the time no so ye enti du ba bia ya na presidents no sesi ayeka say wono ya garden 24 hours woni na ire ne ma ye safe odidi fine innocent civilians no and Putin yamom which are comprehensively condemn it but in event and in a time of war no you don't control the horizon you don't control the excesses and you cannot control what happens. It is quite sad indeed. But I'm saying is the political discussions went bad. Diplomatic discussions went very bad. And the economic discussions, went bad. All the three forces combined together, and when they we say interesting say, and yeah, Ukraine kwani the first country kwani be and Russia and standoff. 1979, Afghanistan, no tin so or tin home, every Russia. That time na Ukraine munyina the Soviet Union home. Now shade with Georgia, with Belarusia, with Turkmenistan, with Russia, with Uzbeks, with Kazakhstan, with all this Moldova nyina together no, omo ntimi ne Afghanistan anko.
Oh, so Afghanistan share omo.
Or she Russia, USSR 1979 up to 89. 89 now went to me no, and Oman and so that time no again was the presidency of Mikhail Gorbachev. So Mikhail Gorbachev and the car said the fight is okay. Afghanistan call. Bearing in mind again, he said Afghanistan now on yet part of even Soviet Union as in 1947. English, you're not British way. Omo na ye the colonial masters of Afghanistan. And to omo di omo sika e punish omo ni niamaniama no 1947 and omo so the British face it off. And omo beje and omo ye declare Afghanistan as a state. Or ye state na no a part of USSR do. And to Russia, Russia na di ni sika, e di ni intelligence, or di ni army, e di ni weapon, e di kokoma Afghanistan and British for kunji independence. Into Afghanistan, Russia for na share wom. Into bedu 79 na wom so mpeso wom si ye wom country no. And then di Afghanistan and Russia problem bas na mo British for bom na wom giche mu eche mu domu no. Ye ne ma muska di eye country no. Adenti e na afi mo beti me ho. And our Western allies ya ekoti ekuo bi e friend Mujahideen rebels. Sabo Mujahideen rebels na New Moscow be kon ya, USSR be kon ya 10 years na. Yet Mikhail Gorbachev at the Afghanistan the mamti. So far in the history of Russia no, Afghanistan and a defeat you.
To see Ukraine for near Russia for cause somebody face so Russia by yam Ukraine and say Ukraine by yam Russia.
Kofi, when your question is so be some medical show the strength of the Russia army.
Yeah.
In terms of numbers.
David said David and Goliath. David
the numbers na kon.
David come Goliath.
Matthias say, no Kofi, unless you are telling me on before the public say Kofi, oh yeah, David and Goliath at time any yen. Enye generation ni bi ni. History you be read here. History book Bible ni chese na Goliath we ni pa kese atenti no hyedade eche. Me no mye ni ye hu. You and I were not there. Dr. Mahmoud Bamua. Enti yenti ase. That generation enye bi ye ka 2022 years ago.
Numbers na chere.
Ye count numbers and say your country bi a we small country. The population so chew. The economy so chew. The army so chew. The reserve so chew. And all weapons so say we be kra na. After say what hu be your country no, Russia no a develop niema. Still utimi ko moon, utimi ko orbit, utimi ko baabi abo Ukraine utimi ko bi. Plus one mistake we are saying say Ukraine is not an international player of the world say. Ghana be sorry say Ukraine ti odi na chi akokontoka. Onye international player say Mexico won ye neutral land no obekwa akodi Ukraine chi so akokontoka. And let us understand say it is not a matter say Ukraine betimi Russia because once you are Russian. It's a matter say our contingent to betimi na face. Enti meme de Kofi men so
Cecilia Zelensky kasa ewo European Parliament.
Yes.
On the air course.
What's he saying?
I see we are fighting just for our land and our freedom.
Enti onukwa admit and acknowledge. But fighting for our land no. Zelensky is still talking about the eastern belt of the Donbass region. Mariupol, Crimea, Lugansk and Donetsk. And no so there to me me feel say Zelensky forget it. On forgetting normal Russia no on fa wo mu. Na Ukraine greater part no wo so dada. Wo land and our population no so. Adentina that strip no, that is a Gaza strip no. Russia any we problem ho. Na nkofo na mu sa strip no ma so feel say on person be a part of Russia. What talk can say?
Aja Farouk our have a international diplomatic consultant. Nkomo we ye betwa so. Ye be here part 2. Abra developments ni bi akwa ni money how things will pan out. but till then yemfa enede no emfa ensia you better say about final words.
My final words.
Are you for Russia or you are for Ukraine?
How can I be for Russia?
Because obi frame so
I know one person me be explain say and now so be say me pro Russia. No, me a pro West and then me a pro world and I'm here pro peace. Okay. Me need anything say me support to Putin on any form of aggression against one country. Okay. It will be very undiplomatic. However, I'm also not in support of the Western system, the Western culture, especially Europe forum. I'm not such a simple issue. No, I aggravated. Whereas the person who could cool a friend is saying Putin down, Angelica Merkel is no more within the European Union. And in some noise may be a European for any. They know very well as a Holland don't committee troop. They know very well as a Switzerland don't team for troop in court. They know very well as Austria for troop in court. They know very well as a Hungary team for troop in court. They know very well as Norwegians on court, Denmark on court, Iceland on court, Finland on court, Luxembourg on court. And if we know as our countries in Inano on court there, why and why again? Sir Kofi, omu force na omu dia den, omu tusu jagum, na case na abedu, baby a me no kasa yedu. And Kofi final word and say the world need peace. Me some final word and say there cannot be this issue Russia Ukraine cannot lead to any world war. As monko for security experts nko for akano because some countries 56 members of the African Alliance and as African organization obi ani ho a to say Russia and now say other countries no be sorry afani to say okoboa Ukraine enti awon hia say NATO enti say Ukraine for kwa meye NATO member Kofi na ayeden Ukraine meye European Union no member na abeyeden say about affected the oil prices into global markets is affected because Russia is fighting. And no na be hit here and only the excesses and the long term or the medium short term effect and what Africans so but to suggest say me support to say Russia and yes and Debbie but me suggest say me support to say su jagum because America do many see so Kofi America will not drop one bomb one arsenal on the soil of Russia so occur in defense of Ukraine into Europe for no omnya do mo ye no